Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for Wednesday, March 3rd. Do we care who's in the New York City's mayor's office? Over the last 2 years and a bit more, I've talked about the uptick of antisemitic violence and hate crimes against the Jewish communities of New York and New Jersey, and of course LA, Pittsburg, and other cities of North America. The result is, to a certain degree, a bit more of an awareness among the broader citizenry that perhaps a problem of anti-Semitism exists in America. We had a promising proclamation from the Democratic New York City Mayoral candidate and former presidential primary contender Andrew Young just recently, in that in January he included in his platform for his mayoral campaign in New York City the open and unabashed opposition to the BDS movement and organizations that support it. Boycott, divest, and sanction. He also has been somewhat popular among Jewish communities of New York City. Historically, Jewish voters have been known to support Democrats. While Yang was celebrated for this brave and outspoken position, the condemnation of the boycott, divest, and sanction movement and its activities, he is starting to waver a bit on his conviction. He received some pushback from Linda Sarsour, a voice who was quite influential in Democrat circles. Yang is now saying he's open to discussion and talk with Palestinian leaderships and organizations, even if they don't disavow specifically the BDS movement. Keep in mind that Sarsour herself is ardently anti-Israel and a supporter of BDS activities. She, along with other members of the squad and other Democrat candidates and officers, are influential in the progressive side of the Democrat Party. Yang has been challenged by Sarsour and other pro-Palestinian activists upset over Yang's comparison between the BDS movement and Nazism, a comparison that was applauded by many. Yang was challenged by pro-Palestinian activists on this particular issue while touring businesses in Brooklyn, New York just a few weeks ago. Sarsour questioned Yang at a mayoral forum, and later she said of Yang's comparison that the BDS movement was like Nazism was a, quote, stretch. She said that to Politico. In response to Sarsour's challenge, Yang said he'd be, quote, happy to sit with Palestinian leaders, activists, folks who are engaged in the issue. I'm very eager to learn and I'm very open-minded and I would appreciate the opportunity, unquote. Now, I am wondering what those folks could say to undo the evidence that we have on what the BDS movement is and what it manifests. New York City and the state of New York is in a bit of turmoil in the wake of the COVID-19 handling over the past year, and the ever-present feud between the current mayor of New York, de Blasio, and the state's governor, Cuomo. Well, New Yorkers may be poised to vote in some new leadership, and in all likelihood, those leaders could be Democrats. Therefore, we need to be sure that we are watching who is rising up in the ranks of the New York City politics system and within the Democrat Party. And New Yorkers need to be keenly aware of who they support and the level of conviction those candidates have for any given issue. Flip-flopping among politicians is not uncommon. Anti-Semitism in New York City and the surrounding areas has not abated in any way under the current leadership, and arguably has grown worse during the COVID-19 crisis. New York City is home to Jewish communities dating back to the colonial era. Generations of Jews and even newly immigrated and naturalized Jews all live in New York City, a city that has always prided itself in being diverse and eclectic and non-judgmental and open-minded. But New York City hasn't been manifesting that personality as of late. New York City is a gateway city to the United States, and its influence on North America and the world as a whole is great because it is such an admired city, one that is iconic in representing the American dream and the road to opportunity. Let us make sure that this dream and opportunity is authentic and secure for all. And fighting anti-Semitism means making sure that it is not voted into office, nor are people who allow it. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.